The first tremor of the Zaran invasion ripples through the world like a thunderclap. It begins with a single, unblinking light in the sky. At first, no one notices. It's too faint, too far off. But then, it grows, expanding into a network of swirling lights, filling the heavens like a sea of stars. People pause, their daily routines interrupted by the eerie spectacle above. It's the middle of the night in New York when the first explosion shakes the earth, sending glass flying and rupturing the streets with a violent tremor. The Zaran's flagship, a massive obsidian-colored vessel, cuts through the clouds, casting a long, dark shadow over the city. The ship is nearly the size of Manhattan itself, and with it, the skies are filled with smaller craft, fast, sleek, and armed. They descend rapidly, burning through the atmosphere like meteors, landing with terrifying precision. Buildings crumble under the force of their landing, and the air is filled with a booming roar that drowns out screams. Panic spreads quickly as thousands flee, but there's no escaping the inevitable. In the chaos, a young woman named Emma Ruse, a civilian who had been attending a late-night medical conference, watches in disbelief as the world she knew disintegrates. She's not a soldier, not a warrior, just a doctor who'd spent most of her life fighting against viruses and sickness. Yet in that moment, she knows something inside her is awakening. As the Zaran begin their ruthless sweep of the city, using terrifying energy weapons that disintegrate everything in their path, Emma runs, not for herself, but to save the injured, the scared, anyone she can help. She doesn't stop when the sirens wail, or when the blasts from above shake the very foundation of the city. Her hands shake, but her resolve hardens. Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C., President Jonathan Hale watches helplessly as his nation falls apart in real time. He stands at the Oval Office window, staring at the television feed showing the destruction in New York, the Zaran's terrifying presence already visible in dozens of other cities across the world. The defense systems that were supposed to protect them, the orbital lasers, the satellites, even their nuclear capabilities, are useless against the Zaran's technology. They were always the superior species, the conquerors of worlds, and humanity was no different than the others they had destroyed. Mr. President, we need to act. Now. The voice of General Maria Cade breaks through his despair. She is standing beside him, her face set in grim determination. She knows their military has no chance in a direct confrontation. The Zaran had made it clear within hours of landing that they were here for a single purpose: to subdue, to control, and to eventually harvest Earth for their own resources. The president turns toward her, his face pale, his hands trembling as he tries to make a decision that could cost millions of lives. Across the globe, as cities burn and millions of people flee, Emma Ruse finds herself swept up in the rush of those trying to escape the Zaran's merciless march. She comes across a group of civilians trapped beneath a collapsed building, their screams rising above the wreckage. Emma doesn't hesitate. She rushes into the debris, using her medical training to assess the survivors, offering what little comfort she can. As she moves to help a young girl pinned under a beam, she realizes this is just the beginning. Back in the chaos of New York, amidst the decimated streets, a lone figure stands still. Victor Kahn, a former soldier turned construction worker, watches as Zaran soldiers march past him, their weapons glowing with an alien energy. His mind races. He is not part of any official resistance, not yet, but his instincts are sharp. As the Zaran troops approach, he knows he must act. There's no turning back now. He's seen the way they fight, how they systematically destroy everything in their path. But there's something about humanity that the Zaran haven't accounted for. Something primal, something fierce. It's more than just survival. It's a fight to protect the people he loves. Victor grips a crowbar and quietly slips into the shadows, unnoticed. In the days following the initial invasion, the world plunges into a state of utter chaos. Governments are crippled, cities are reduced to rubble, and fear permeates every corner of Earth. The Zaran are relentless. their superior technology making them nearly impossible to stop. Yet, among the overwhelming despair, something unexpected begins to stir: hope. It starts quietly, in places where the Zeren are least prepared, where the humans they deemed weak are forced to confront the enemy head-on. Emma Ruiz has never felt more alive or more terrified. After her narrow escape in New York, she joins a group of survivors, doctors, engineers, and ordinary citizens, holed up in an abandoned hospital. They've become an unlikely band of resistance fighters, tending to the wounded and gathering resources for whatever comes next. They aren't soldiers, but they've learned quickly that survival requires more than just running. Emma has witnessed firsthand the brutality of the Zeren, and her medical expertise has made her indispensable to the Galactic group. But it's her inner strength, the refusal to let fear define her, that begins to inspire those around her. She sees the spark of rebellion in the eyes of others. In a makeshift command center beneath the hospital, Victor Khan huddles with a small group of survivors. His background as a soldier gives him an edge, but it's his adaptability, his ability to see possibilities where others see only limitations, that makes him an effective leader. He's already begun organizing small raids against Zeren supply lines, using the knowledge of the city's underground tunnels to stay one step ahead of the enemy. With limited resources and no formal military training, these missions are risky. But the resistance fighters are driven by a singular goal: to disrupt the invaders in any way possible. Every strike we make, no matter how small, sends a message, Victor says, his voice low but firm. We're not going down without a fight. Outside, the night is alive with the sounds of gunfire and explosions. The resistance moves swiftly through the shadows, taking out isolated patrols of Zeren soldiers. The alien forces are scattered, overwhelmed by the chaos they've caused, and for a brief moment, the humans have the upper hand. Each victory, no matter how minor, feels like a triumph, proof that Earth's will to survive has not yet been extinguished. Across the world, similar pockets of resistance form. In Paris, a group of refugees led by a former French military officer launches an assault on a Zeren command center, disabling a critical communications relay. In Cairo, local militias band together, using improvised weapons to ambush Zeren patrols in the city's ancient alleys. No one is waiting for permission from world governments or military leaders anymore. The Zeren have underestimated humanity's resourcefulness. And now, the humans are taking matters into their own hands. Back in Washington, D.C., President Jonathan Hale is forced to take drastic action. After failing to launch a coordinated counteroffensive, he calls together the remnants of his military advisors, desperate for a plan. A reluctant alliance is forged between what's left of the U.S. military and underground resistance groups across the globe. Their collective goal is clear: fight back, no matter the cost. The president is told that this is no longer about protecting the country, it's about reclaiming the planet. Yet even as hope flickers in the hearts of Earth's survivors, Hale knows the truth. The Zeren are not a typical enemy. They've crushed worlds before, and they will not stop until Earth is no more than a memory. Emma, Victor, and the countless others fighting in the shadows don't know yet how they'll defeat the invaders. But what they do know is that no matter how powerful the Zeren may be, they've awakened something deep within humanity. Something that refuses to bend, that fights back when all seems lost. The world's cities may lie in ruins, and Earth's military might may be shattered, but humanity is not yet defeated. In the cracks of despair, in the hearts of the brave, the rebellion begins to grow. Amidst the chaos of Earth's fight for survival, the resistance stumbles upon a discovery that could change the tide of the war, if they can figure out how to harness it. In a small, remote area outside what was once known as the Colorado Plateau, a group of survivors led by Emma Ruiz and Victor Khan find themselves drawn to an ancient, crumbling structure hidden deep within a canyon. It wasn't by chance that they ended up there. The location had been identified by a team of scientists who, prior to the invasion, had been studying unusual seismic activity beneath the Earth's crust. When the tremors grew stronger, and the skies darkened with the Zaren's arrival. The research had been abandoned. But now, it was the only lead they had. As Emma steps into the cool, musty air of the cavernous ruin, her breath catches. The walls are covered in strange symbols, a language unknown to any human. The sheer scale of the underground structure is breathtaking. But more than that, there's a feeling in the air, an energy that hums through the ground, vibrating in her bones. It feels ancient, powerful. It's as though the earth itself is whispering to her. "We weren't the first," she murmurs, almost to herself. Victor, who has remained skeptical of every fantastical theory since the invasion began, steps forward. His flashlight flickers across the walls, revealing the remains of what appear to be an advanced technological civilization. The walls are covered with intricate carvings that appear to tell a story, one of power, destruction, and ultimately, a warning. The symbols aren't just ancient, they are far beyond anything humans have ever known. Yet the most startling discovery is a series of large, glowing crystals embedded deep within the walls. They pulse with a strange, soft light, and as Emma moves closer to one, her hand instinctively reaches out. The moment her fingers brush the crystal surface, a jolt of energy shoots through her. The ground trembles, and the sound of distant machinery rumbles to life, as if the structure itself has awoken after millennia of slumber. "We need to leave," Victor says urgently, but there's a sense of awe in his voice that betrays his earlier skepticism. He can feel it too, the power. The others, who have been scouting the area, rush back into the chamber, their faces wide-eyed with disbelief. As the group explores deeper into the ruins, they uncover more of the advanced technology hidden within. Devices beyond anything human civilization has ever seen, glowing with an energy that is both terrifying and beautiful. They find a central chamber, a massive, domed space where a dormant machine lies, dormant but not entirely inactive. The machine hums with a low frequency, sending vibrations through the walls. It is in this room that they make the most incredible discovery. The core of the structure, a large crystalline sphere, is the source of the energy, a device capable of generating immense power, far beyond anything Earth scientists have ever conceived. "This is it," Emma whispers, awe and fear blending in her voice. "This is what we've been looking for. This is why they're here." Victor looks at the machine, then back at the rest of the group. "We can't let them take this. We don't know what it's capable of, but I'm sure it's why the Zaren came here in the first place. They didn't just invade Earth, they came for this. This power could change the balance of the war." Before they can discuss their next move, the air around them hums, and the ground shakes once again. The Zaren are closing in, their patrols tightening around the area. They've found the Resistance's hideout. "Pack it up," Victor orders. "We need to get this back to the others. Now, we can't risk them getting their hands on this." The group works quickly, but it's clear that this discovery has changed everything. The Zaren might have superior weaponry, but the Resistance now holds the key to something that could level the playing field. However, the danger is clear. The Zaren will stop at nothing to claim this ancient power, and they are not the only ones who understand the potential threat. Earth's last hope might rest on how well they can control this newfound energy. As they make their way back to their hidden base, Emma can't shake the feeling that they are standing at the threshold of something much greater. The Zaren thought Earth was just another primitive world, but now humanity has something they never anticipated. Power that predates even the most advanced alien species. The moment the survivors return to their hidden base, their hearts are filled with a mixture of dread and exhilaration. The ancient machine they've discovered beneath the Earth's surface is more than just a relic. It's the key to humanity's survival. With the power of the crystalline sphere now in their hands, the Resistance begins to realize that they might have a chance to turn the tide in this war. Victor Khan leads a meeting with the top Resistance leaders, strategizing their next move. The group is gathered in a makeshift war room, a dusty old library beneath a city that was once thriving but now lies abandoned. The walls are covered in old maps and hastily drawn blueprints for the Zeran structures. On a central table, the crystal sphere pulses with a soft, otherworldly glow. The power it radiates unmistakable. "It's time to hit them where it hurts," Victor says, his voice unwavering. "We've got the power now. Our best chance to attack their command centers, their weapon depots, everything they're using to maintain control. This is how we do it. No more hiding." Emma Ruiz, her mind still reeling from the magnitude of the discovery, nods in agreement. "We're not sure how this power works yet, but we can use it to disable their tech, disrupt their forces. We don't need to defeat them head-on. We need to break their hold on Earth, piece by piece." The Resistance begins to plan their first real offensive. They'll target the Zeran supply lines and infrastructure, using the ancient power to disrupt the alien forces' ability to communicate and coordinate. The Zeran's reliance on technology has been their strength, but now it's their greatest weakness. Their first strike is a daring raid on a Zeran communications hub located deep in the heart of what was once Los Angeles. The mission is risky. If the Zeran detect the human presence, it's likely the whole base will be annihilated in an instant. But this is no longer about survival. It's about making the Zeran feel the same fear that they've instilled in humanity. The operation is carried out under the cover of night. The Resistance forces, armed with new weapons powered by the crystalline energy, move swiftly and silently through the ruined city. As they approach the Zeran's heavily guarded facility, Emma feels a pulse of adrenaline. The Zeran, despite their advanced technology, are still unprepared for the kind of sabotage that human ingenuity can bring. When they breach the facility's perimeter, the real fight begins. Zeran soldiers, who had been securing the communications arrays, fall into disarray as the power surges from the crystal are directed at their weapons. Zeran energy shields flicker and die, their heavy weaponry rendered useless by the ancient technology. In the chaos, Victor and a small team infiltrate the main control room. They place the crystal-powered device inside the command center, aiming to overload the system and send a pulse that will disable Zeran communications worldwide. But they don't have much time. The Zeran are quick to adapt, and they begin their counterattack, sending in reinforcements to quell the human incursion. "Get to the extraction point," Victor orders, his voice strained. "We've done our part. Now, we get out." As the Resistance team retreats through the shadows, Emma can feel the crystal's energy surge around them. It's as though the power is alive, guiding their steps, helping them evade detection. When the team finally makes it back to the safe house, the explosion they'd set off rings out in the distance. The Zeran communications are crippled, and for the first time since the invasion began, the Resistance feels the taste of victory. Word spreads quickly through the underground networks. The attack has been a success. The Zeran, who once thought Earth to be a helpless, insignificant world, are now reeling from the unexpected blow. They've underestimated humanity's resourcefulness, and it's become clear that the Resistance is capable of far more than the Zeran ever imagined. But as Victor watches the horizon, a sense of caution creeps over him. This victory is just the beginning. The Zeran will retaliate, and their counterattack will be swift and brutal. Earth's war for survival is far from over, but at least now, humanity has a weapon they can use, one that could tip the scales in their favor. Emma stands beside him, her eyes focused on the distant glow of burning cities. "We've shown them we're not powerless. We've shown them we fight back." Victor looks at the crystalline sphere, now resting in the hands of their best engineers, who are studying it for further uses. This war is just getting started. The relief of their first victory is short-lived. Despite the damage done to the Zeran's communications infrastructure, their response is swift and merciless. The very next day, the skies above Earth darken with more ships, larger than anything seen before. These ships are not just vessels. They are weapons designed to leave nothing but destruction in their wake. The Zeran, humiliated by the attack on their command centers, have called for reinforcements from across the galaxy. Their retaliation will be devastating. A new fleet, colossal and seemingly endless, arrives from the depths of space. The Zharan's presence on Earth is no longer confined to cities. They now dominate entire regions, a visible sign of their overwhelming power. In Washington, D.C., President Jonathan Hale watches the monitors in horror. The first wave of attacks begins as massive energy pulses rain down from the Zharan ships above. The ground shakes, and shockwaves ripple through the capital. There's no escape, no warning, only the crushing reality that the Zharan have decided to make Earth an example of their power. Mobilize everything we've got, President Hale orders, but he knows it's futile. The Zharan's energy weapons are so advanced that Earth's military stands no chance. Their orbital defense grid is obliterated in moments, leaving Earth's remaining forces defenseless. As Washington burns, Hale's hope flickers. The enemy has shown no mercy, and now the true extent of their wrath is on full display. Meanwhile, Emma Ruiz and Victor Khan are deep within a newly established resistance base, miles from the city's ruins. The news of the Zharan counteroffensive hits them like a gut punch. Despite their small victory, they are no match for the enemy's power. Emma feels the weight of the crystal sphere they've been protecting, knowing that it is their last hope. And yet it seems insufficient against the overwhelming forces the Zharan command. "Emma, we need to go," Victor says urgently, standing by the entrance of their base, scanning the horizon. A distant rumble echoes through the earth. "We don't have much time." The resistance group begins evacuating, moving as quickly as they can. Their only chance of survival now is to keep moving, to stay ahead of the Zharan's retaliation. But the feeling of impending doom hangs heavily over them all. The ancient power they've discovered has been their only advantage, and yet, in the face of the Zharan's overwhelming force, it feels like a mere flicker of light against the dark expanse of space. As they head into the wilderness, their route lit by the distant glow of burning cities, Emma can't shake the overwhelming sense of dread. The resistance has become more than just a group of people fighting to survive. They've become symbols of humanity's defiance, its refusal to be crushed under the weight of alien superiority. But can that defiance stand against the might of an intergalactic empire bent on exterminating them? In the heart of the ruined city of New York, the Zharan begin their methodical cleanup, leveling entire blocks in search of any remaining resistance fighters. The streets are littered with the remains of both humans and Zharan soldiers. Their war machines sweep through the remnants of humanity's last strongholds, leaving nothing but ashes behind. But there's something different this time, something unnerving in the air. The Zharan know the humans are not easy prey. They have learned from the last encounter that humanity is not as weak as they once thought. There is something in the spirit of the human race that refuses to break, no matter the odds. The Zharan are relentless, but so are the humans who fight back. As Emma and Victor's team continues their escape, they encounter a new grim reality. The Zharan aren't just hunting them. They are systematically erasing all traces of human civilization. The resistance has become a marked target, and their survival is increasingly uncertain. But amidst the fear, there is something else, a glimmer of hope. The knowledge of the ancient energy they now control, no matter how small the victory, reminds them that they are not entirely helpless. The Zharan might have the upper hand now, but the spark of rebellion has already taken root in humanity's heart. The fight for Earth has only just begun. As the survivors retreat into the shadows, Emma grips the crystal tightly, a silent promise to herself and her people. The Zharan may have the power to destroy, but humanity will never stop fighting. And one day, they will make them pay. The resistance is fractured. The Zharan have leveled entire cities, leaving nothing but ash in their wake. The remnants of humanity are scattered in hidden bunkers, small outposts, and underground caverns, trying to stay one step ahead of the alien invaders. As the earth groans under the weight of the Zharan's wrath, the survivors realize they must do something desperate. But what? They have no army, no fleet, no weapons that can truly stand up to the invaders' overwhelming firepower. Yet there is still the crystal, the ancient power discovered beneath Earth's surface. It is the one thing that offers a glimmer of hope, even if they have yet to fully understand it. Emma Ruiz, still haunted by the devastation she's witnessed, works tirelessly with the Resistance's top engineers and scientists to unlock the crystal's secrets. Day and night, they study the sphere, feeding it data, attempting to activate different parts of the ancient machine. The device seems to pulse with energy, but without the proper knowledge, the crystal remains elusive, its full potential hidden beneath layers of alien technology and forgotten language. I know it's not much, but it's our only shot, Emma says, frustration lacing her voice as she adjusts the settings on the machine. The crystal hums in response, casting an eerie glow on the walls of the underground lab. If we can figure this out, if we can tap into its energy the right way, this could be the weapon we need to turn the tide. The Zeren don't expect it. And that's what we have on our side. Victor Khan, who has been coordinating the Resistance's efforts across various fronts, enters the room, his face grim. We don't have time for more tests, Emma. We've been pushed to the edge. If we don't strike now, Earth will be gone. Emma looks up at him, her eyes determined. I know, but we can't just throw this away. The Zeren are relentless. If we want a real chance, we need to understand this. We need to learn how to control it. Victor shakes his head. You've got a point, but we can't wait for the perfect plan anymore. Earth's last cities are burning, Emma. People are dying. The longer we wait, the harder it's going to be to do anything at all. His words hang in the air, heavy with truth. They are running out of time. But as the resistance group works, they begin to uncover something extraordinary. By deciphering more of the ancient symbols on the walls of the ruins, they find the key to unlocking the crystal's power. A series of energy conduits embedded deep within the Earth, all connected to the machine beneath the surface. These conduits extend like veins across the planet, almost as if the Earth itself was once a vast, interconnected system of energy designed to fuel an unimaginable weapon. It's a network, Emma says, her voice filled with awe. The whole planet is a conduit. We can draw energy from the Earth itself. Realizing the true scale of what they've discovered, the Resistance begins to experiment with the crystal's ability to tap into this global energy grid. As they feed the crystal into the system, the entire base begins to hum, resonating with a power that shakes the ground. The technology is beyond their wildest dreams, but they now understand its potential. They could use the Earth's very core as a weapon. With this newfound power, they formulate a plan, one so daring, so reckless, it may be their only chance of victory. The Resistance will launch a coordinated strike on the Zeren's main command ship, the Zerax, the mothership that controls their entire invasion force. They will use the ancient technology to disable its shields, then strike at its core with every last ounce of power they can muster. We're not just going to fight back anymore, Victor declares to his team. We're going to take the fight to them. It's time to end this. As the plan takes shape, Emma feels a surge of hope she hasn't felt in weeks. The Zeren may be invincible, but they have underestimated humanity's resilience. They've underestimated the Earth itself. With the ancient energy now at their disposal, the Resistance prepares for the most daring assault yet. If they succeed, they could cripple the Zeren's entire operation and reclaim Earth. But the risks are unimaginable. If they fail, the planet could be lost forever. The Resistance has made its move. In the depths of the Resistance's hidden command center, the plan is set into motion. Victor Khan stands at the helm, his eyes scanning the final battle strategy laid out before him. His face is grim, but there's a fire in his eyes. The Zeren's mothership, the Zerax, looms over the Earth's atmosphere, a silent sentinel of domination. It is the heart of their war effort, and if the Resistance can strike it down, they will have a chance to break the alien invaders' stranglehold. We have one shot at this, Victor says, his voice steady but laden with the weight of the moment. "This is our last chance. If we can disable their shields using the Earth's energy grid, we'll have a window, maybe just a few minutes, to take out the Zarax." Emma Ruiz stands beside him, clutching the ancient crystal, which now hums with a steady pulse of energy. In the days since they unlocked the full potential of the Earth's energy network, they've managed to tap into a small fraction of its power. It's enough to power their final assault, but only just. "We need to make sure we can do this without alerting the Zeren before we're ready," she says, her voice taut with the pressure. "The moment they detect us, it's over. We'll be outmatched in seconds." Victor nods, but there's no time to second-guess. The assault has begun. The Resistance's most elite fighters, now armed with technology powered by the crystal, prepare for the most dangerous mission in human history. The team has split into two groups. One will infiltrate the Zeren's outer defense perimeter and create a diversion, while the other will infiltrate the mothership itself. Emma leads the second team, with Victor staying behind to oversee the mission's execution. The first strike is swift and brutal. Resistance forces, cloaked and using the ancient energy to mask their presence, slip past the Zeren's outer defenses. They disable key communication relays and sabotage the alien fleet's weapon systems, creating chaos within the Zeren ranks. It's a small victory, but it's enough to draw the alien forces' attention and momentarily shift their focus away from the true target, the mothership. Meanwhile, Emma's team launches a desperate assault on the Zarax. Using the crystal's energy, they breach the ship's outer hull, opening a path to its core. They fight their way through alien soldiers, evading deadly traps and automated defenses, until they reach the heart of the Zeren vessel, a massive glowing core pulsing with dark energy. This is the source of their power, the engine that powers their fleet and shields. Emma feels the weight of the moment. This is it, the heart of the beast. "Let's make sure they never use this again," she whispers before activating the crystal. A surge of energy crackles through the air as the crystal powers up, its energy feeding into the Zeren core. The room shakes violently as the crystal sends a pulse of raw, unfiltered power into the alien technology. The Zeren core begins to destabilize, its shields flickering and then collapsing entirely. "We've done it," Emma shouts, relief flooding through her. But just as they're about to celebrate their success, an explosion rips through the room. The Zeren, having realized what's happening, launch their counterattack. The air fills with the shriek of Zeren weapons, and Emma's team is thrown into chaos. "We've got to get out of here," one of her team members yells. The ship is falling apart, and the Zeren are closing in. The team retreats, fighting their way back toward the exit, but the danger has never been greater. Back on Earth, Victor watches the countdown on his monitor, knowing the fate of the entire operation lies in the hands of Emma's team. If they can get out in time, Earth will have a chance to win this war. If they fail, everything they fought for will be lost. The sky above Earth erupts in flashes of light as the Zeren's forces react to the breach. The mothership, now destabilized, begins to tremble as the Earth's energy pulses continue to reverberate through its systems. The diversion team continues to wreak havoc on the outer Zeren fleets, ensuring that the Zeren's reinforcements can't save their mothership in time. Emma's team is on the run now, nearly overwhelmed. But as they make their final dash for the escape pods, a blinding flash of light erupts behind them. The Zeren core, overloaded with the Earth's power, finally gives way, and the mothership, the Zarax, detonates in an explosion that lights up the heavens. The shockwave ripples through the Zeren fleet, sending their forces into disarray. The tide has turned. Victor watches from the command center, his heart racing as he sees the Zeren mothership collapse in flames. The Resistance has dealt a blow so devastating that the Zeren will never fully recover. But the war is far from over. Earth may have won a battle, but the price has been steep, and the enemy's wrath is not easily quenched. The explosion of the Zarax sent shockwaves through the fabric of the Zeren's empire. Their mothership, once a symbol of invincibility, was reduced to cosmic debris, and with it, their hold on Earth began to crumble. The Zeran fleet, already destabilized by the destruction of their command center, faltered, and for the first time since the invasion began, Earth saw a flicker of hope. Back on the surface, the sky had cleared. The burning cities, though still scared, began to fade from the distant horizon. Humanity had done the impossible. The world was not yet safe, but the defeat of the Zeran's Central Command was a game-changer. Their communication systems were crippled, their strategy in disarray, and their fleet scattered. The Resistance, though battered and broken, now had the upper hand. Victor Khan stood in front of the remaining leaders of the Resistance, the glow of the dawn beginning to break over the horizon. The war was not over, far from it. But the balance of power had shifted. The Zeran had lost their greatest weapon, and humanity had proven that they would not be crushed. The spirit of defiance, once thought extinguished, had ignited an unyielding flame. "We did it," Victor said, though the words felt hollow. The cost had been high. Too many lives lost, entire cities turned to rubble. But victory was in their hands. "We've hit them hard, but we can't stop now. We need to rebuild. We need to finish what we started." Emma Ruiz, bruised but determined, joined him at the front. The crystal, now safely stored in the heart of their underground command base, pulsed faintly. She had watched the Earth's energies surge with its power, watched the alien invaders falter. And despite the chaos, a feeling of cautious optimism had begun to settle over her. "I know we've taken a step forward," Emma said, her voice steady. "But the Zeran will retaliate. They will rebuild. We can't give them time to recover." Victor nodded. "And we won't. We've got the momentum. Now it's time to unite every resistance group, every city still standing. We're not just fighting for survival anymore. We're fighting for the future of Earth." The survivors of the final assault, those who managed to escape the destruction of the Zerax, slowly began to regroup. The loss of so many comrades weighed heavily on their hearts, but the spark of hope was undeniable. They knew their victory had bought them precious time, but there was still much to do. They would have to rebuild infrastructure, re-establish communication with surviving human populations, and prepare for the inevitable Zeran counterstrike. News of the victory spread across the globe, a signal of defiance that echoed from the ashes of fallen cities. Former governments, now in ruins, were replaced by councils of survivors. New alliances formed as humanity, united in its struggle, began to rebuild what had been lost. The old world was gone, but the new world would rise from its ashes, stronger, more united. Even as Earth's cities began to stir with life once more, the war was far from over. The Zeran were scattered, their leadership shattered, but their empire was vast. And as the resistance regrouped and healed, it became clear that the fight was not just for survival, it was for the right to live in a world free from alien tyranny. In the distance, the remains of the Zerax drifted, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. The Zeran would return. They would try to reclaim what they had lost. But this time, Earth would be ready. The ancient power they had harnessed, the knowledge and strength of a united humanity, would serve as the foundation for the final victory. "We've proven something today," Emma said, staring out at the horizon as the first rays of sunlight bathed the Earth. "We've proven that we're not just a species to be conquered. We're the ones who decide our future." Victor stood beside her, looking at the team of survivors around them. Soldiers, scientists, engineers, civilians who had fought together for this moment. He felt the weight of leadership settle on his shoulders, but also a sense of purpose. The war had changed them all. It had revealed the very best of humanity: courage, unity, and resilience. And as they stood there, knowing that the true battle was still ahead, they knew one thing for sure: humanity would never again be underestimated.